Harry Potter is the devil. I can't believe I went through all this time not realizing it. Okay, that I didn't realize that I'm going to be suffering eternal damnation. Because Laura Mallory says so, that we're all going to hell because we love Harry Potter. Harry Potter is totally against religion. We're all going to try to devote our lives to Wicca. I mean, what person wouldn't? It's a book. We're all going to follow every rule of it. Hey, J.K. Rowling is Satan. She's totally going to make us become these witches, and she possesses us. She makes me see things. She makes me believe things that aren't real because I know in my heart that Harry Potter is the devil. And I've been stuck in this eternal damnation, and I have been so far away from God because I've been reading Harry Potter and devoting my life to the devil and witchcraft. Warlocks and elves and gnomes are taking over our minds. Okay, it's filling us with this bogus that isn't real. And it's making us believe that old men are gay.
Same as it ever was. Broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. Land of the free and home of the cheap. You're listening to another rousing episode of Portland Sucks here on Cascadia.fm, where we live and in person do this thing each and every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time at http://Cascadia.fm. There is no com. My name is Robert Wagner. For the next 55 minutes, and I choose to give you something to listen to as you gradually slip into that coma that you're going to call a weekend. And to that end, the most comatose person I know, Sabrina Miller. Good morning, Sabrina Miller.
Good morning. I'm the most comatose person you know? How can you even say that?
I'm joking. It's...
Oh, okay.
It's a joke.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Okay.
You're actually very peppy. Would you prefer peppy?
Peppy's good.
Peppy?
I can handle that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Comatose just sounds like I should be in like a mummified sleeping bag or something.
Comatose sounds more like you should be stoned off your ass like, well, 90% of the so-called 99% down the road.
Aha.
I'm just saying.
Gotcha.
Just saying. It's an interactive program, as it always is, which means that you can chat with us in the cool little chat box that's sitting right there in front of you if you're listening on a, like a computer-type contraption. Desktop, laptop, otherwise. If you're listening on certain select mobile devices that, don't allow for such niceties as the chat box. Or if you're listening to this later on in the day, the week, the month, the year, or sometime in the future. Email always works. Just bring up your favorite email client or log into Hotmail. Send that off to podcast@pdxx.com.
I like how you call it an email client.
I'm trying to be technical. I'm trying to be more technical these days.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to prove my worth. I'm feeling the need to expand my horizons.
To whom and why?
Potential employers.
Oh.
Yeah, I got to get off this living off $56 a week thing. Try and make some more cash flow.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's always an important thing.
Well, my tutor lately has been the television show Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
I figure they've got meth. I'm going to get into, maybe one of the opiate derivatives.
I you know what? That sounds like a great idea, actually.
Does it really?
I really wish I would have paid more attention in chemistry.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That really won't help you in that regard, but okay.
No, but I could cook meth and then make a lot of money.
You're familiar with the show, yes?
Of course.
Okay, and you maybe have seen how well that's worked out for the main characters?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and this is a good idea for you. Why?
Well, so that I can be prepared now, so that I can learn to shoot a gun, and that I can go and take jiu-jitsu classes, and then I'll go to school for chemistry learning, and then I'll make meth, and then I'll be all protected and good.
Sabrina Miller, jiu-jitsu meth dealer. That's awesome. That is awesome. Very good.
I'd be a meth maker, not a meth dealer.
A meth maker.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to attempt to do almost this entire program mostly grossly unprepared.
Oh, boy.
The reason being is that it is Friday. I was
Very
hoping
good.
y'all would think that there'd be a soundbite right there. What's her name? Rebecca Black. I was
Oh.
I just figured everybody's going to go, no, God, he's going to do it. Don't do it. But I didn't, did I?
No, you didn't.
Oh, it is 9:06 a.m., which means that it's time for the janitorial services to be vacuuming outside in the hall. So if you hear a that's either me going or janitorial services outside in the hall.
Thank you very much, Janitorial Services, for your very timely cleaning habits.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Definitely indeed. Well, so you and I, yesterday, after the dust settled around the Cascadia.fm studios, or basically when we canceled all the other afternoon programming, decided to go out and, investigate in a journalistic type manner the Occupy Portland shindig downtown.
We did.
Yeah. The first thing we discovered, of course, we happened to merge with the group somewhere around City Hall. They were actually in that I don't know what street that is. Is it Clay? I believe it is, or Jefferson, something like that.
Clay, yeah.
It was Jefferson or Clay. It's I don't know. It's where City Hall and the Wells Fargo Tower sort of intersect. That intersection right there. And it was fun. It was an interesting thing. My favorite initial reaction was I'd been reading the Twitter all day, and a lot of people on Twitter had said very pointedly, I should say, that these aren't the protesters you think they are.
Okay.
Insinuating to me that it was a lot of, responsible adults, people with jobs, college educations, maybe suits and ties, that sort of thing. Maybe just, a lot of people in their casual wear, though, because, the weather, the elements, things like that. You don't want to be out there looking like the man amongst, the other protesters, God forbid. And so I wasn't expecting anything less than that. I expected, people who had been through the daily grind for quite some time, people who hadn't had health care, but yet had been working their asses off, nose to the grindstone. And I was disappointed when I got there and I realized, no, it's a collection of sorry old Woodstock-era fucking baby boomer hippies and a massive slew of people who've probably never had a job in their life.
And there were a lot of them.
There were a lot of them. I respect, my hat's off to the organizers of the event for keeping everybody in line. My hat's off to the Portland Police Department for, keeping themselves in line. I didn't see anybody get gunned down. And let's face it, that's really what I was there for. Busting heads and tasering and, all manner of, horse attacks and, guys on bikes throwing their bikes at perps and knocking them down. Things like that. Just sort of a real-life episode of Cops.
Yeah.
It's not that I was hoping for it. It's that, secretly in the back of my mind, I was kind of hoping for it.
You kind of hope that, somebody may fall off their bike or something.
I figured, if shit actually did hit the fan, do I really want to trust what I read in the alternative newspapers or on their websites like the Mercury or the Willamette Week, or do I want to see it with thine own eyes? And, I wanted to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really did.
Good for you.
I did. I just wanted to. Mm-hmm. But, that was, let's get all the pleasantries out of the way. So, Portland Police, great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to be commended. The protesters themselves, fairly well-organized, actually extremely well-organized. I'll just go ahead and give them that. Group of kids, and let's face it, that's what they were. Mm-hmm. By and large, I would, by my best estimate, 95% of the so-called 99% were people who were 22 years old, had never worked a day in their life, have pretty much made themselves unemployable with all manner of blue hair, and I don't mean in an old people way, and, facial piercings and things of that nature. Not that I have anything against any of that. It is Portland. Live, love, learn, appreciate one another. That's great.
Keep Portland weird.
However, you see these people. I saw one gentleman, he was dressed in his Hot Topic best with his bondage pants and his awesome Slipknot shirt.
Oh, my God.
He had 4 facial piercings and a neck tattoo, looked all of about 21, 22 years old, and he's walking by the Wells Fargo Tower. A financial institution, if ever there was one. A beacon of the man in the heart of downtown Portland, Oregon. And what is he doing? He's staring skyward. And at first I thought he was looking at God. And he has raised high in the air. Well, as high as his 5'6" frame could, actually put arms up in the air. And both middle fingers extended. And he's just like, fuck you! Fuck you for keeping me down! And I thought, wow, that's amusing. Because I'm sure somewhere in the Wells Fargo Tower there are all manner from people of all walks of life sitting at their desks, going about their jobs, waiting for the day to end to go home to their families, see their children. And here is this Slipknot fan, this Hot Topic loving Slipknot fan, with soft hands and a lot of hair product, letting them know that he doesn't appreciate being kept down. Not by them, not by anyone. And so we followed them. We followed them several blocks. They congregated at not one but two parks downtown. And then it rained, and everybody decided, oh, fuck this. Fuck this. And the thing that struck me as we were sitting in the park is that there were so many smokers.
I know.
And not to be a hypocrite, I'm not a hypocrite. You know, having been a nicotine-addicted person for at least half my life at this point. But I wonder. I have to wonder. Just how interested are you in fighting the man if you have to purchase probably the worst example of the man's most diabolical and devious product?
Oh, I know.
Shoveling, what, upwards of $5-6 a day into the corporate coffers of the Philip Morris Corporation, the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Corporation? Wow, you're really sticking it to him, aren't you? I won't bank at Wells Fargo, man, but I'm going to pay for death. Yeah, Slipknot!
But I smoke American spirits, therefore it's better.
I was disappointed to see that there wasn't more what I would call regular people. And I'm not judging. I'm not being judgmental by saying that whatsoever. Mm-hmm. These people know exactly who they are. They are suburban white kids of opportunity whose families have obviously paid their way through life. I'll bet you there was not a calloused hand among them. Not a one. At least, not that wasn't, calloused for masturbation or something of that nature. Quite a few people who, came off as articulate. Quite a few very good speakers. There's no getting around that. But the masses, the 99%, or, better guess, 95% of the so-called 99%, not people that we were really in danger of keeping down anyway.
No, not at all.
Because life has deemed it so that they've chosen to keep themselves down. Now, I support the Occupy Wall Street movement. I even support Occupy Portland. But I support it in the sense that it can only do some good if you can get the people who actually do work for a living to go do it and to go participate. And maybe they will this weekend. We can only hope. Mm-hmm. But, it's very telling when you have a large, massive group of people who start every sentence with, whoa, who are using the entire thing as a dope-smoking sit-in. It's very telling when that's your audience.
Oh, yeah.
That's who's there. That's the masses. That's the so-called oppressed. The only thing that anyone there has done to oppress anyone else is self-imposed. And like I said, I'm fine with fancy haircuts. I'm fine with, hey, my goal in life is to be the world's best barista. You knock yourself out, man. That's great. If you put yourself there, that's absolutely fine. I have no issue with that. And like I said, if this had been Occupy Bank of America, I'm all for it. Not just because I'm a dissatisfied customer either.
Right.
If it had a target. Our Occupy Wall Street says, hey, Wall Street, we the people don't like your shit. I get that. I like it. I appreciate it. I respect it, and I support it. But occupying Portland, what are you saying to Portland at that point? I'm going to occupy you. Okay, cool. I'm already here.
Yeah.
I'm already here.
For what reason are you occupying me?
You can have all manner of emo shoegazing kids standing around thinking they're part of a solution when I don't think they're even really aware of what the problem is.
Nope.
And you can tell them all manner of propaganda, and they can repeat it and recite it all they want. But in the end, they are there to see and be seen. Mm-hmm. Which is not to diminish the message. It's just to simply state that so far you've attracted in larger numbers that 95% that needs to grow the hell up. Or, conversely, enjoy your 20s.
Yeah, exactly.
Knock yourself out. I get that. But seriously, I felt like I was standing in line for a concert of some sort.
Yeah.
Like any minute now, Slipknot's going to come out and make us leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That's how I felt too. I didn't. The thing that I noticed most is that I'm really glad that I chose to wear what I wore, I guess, which is just like a sweatshirt and a pair of jeans. But if I would have worn anything other than like a darker blue, gray, brown, or black, man, I would have stood out like a sore. You have to wear those colors in order to blend in with the people that were protesting there yesterday. Anything else, yeah, you would just would have been screwed.
Well, I felt out of place because and I'm not making fun of this in any capacity, but I felt out of place because I was one of very few people that had a phone that was older than about 6 months.
Oh yeah.
I felt silly in some respects.
Yeah.
But some of the props and some of the cool stuff, definitely interesting. At one point, though, I did round one corner and I inhaled so much residual marijuana smoke. For the elderly that are listening, marijuana smoke, that I actually got a contact high and immediately was like, I need a mocha from Starbucks and I need it now. I need sweets, man. It was weird. I'm like, Jay,
where are you?
Jay! God damn it, Jay!
One, it lasted a long time too. I mean,
contact high?
No, I mean just like the actual smell of it. Normally, like in a setting like that, hey, it's out in public. It's it's outdoors. You smell something like that, it just kind of comes and goes within a couple seconds. But this seemed to last like 2 minutes.
It went on for quite a while.
It did.
Well, you get that many people, and here's the other thing. Okay. When they were actually walking down the street, Clay or Jefferson or whatever street it was a fairly large number of people, but you're watching them actually march. Once they gathered, the reports that you read on Twitter, I can say firsthand, there was not, there's no way, okay, apparently the 95% cannot count. There is no way that was 10,000 people.
Oh, no.
There is no way it was 10,000 people. By the time they got to the cool little park with the big old statue of the elk, it was maybe 3,000 people. By the time we all got moved for some reason or another 2 blocks south to the big roundy park whose name escapes me. It was maybe half that. Mm-hmm. And then it rained. And then everybody sort of dispersed, and that was the end of that. I looked back after I left the Starbucks to get my contact high mocha, looked down the street, and I maybe saw 30 people standing around.
Oh, wow.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's still going on today. We know this because there was a... and this is fun. There was a live news event now because the event with a permit, the Portland Marathon coming up this weekend, is now at odds with the event that doesn't have a permit. And the people without the permit have decided, well, we're pissed off that you have a permit and we don't, even though we fully elected not to get a permit, but we want to sit here. But the Portland Marathon has already had their permit in place for upward of 9-10 months, as I understand it. And, well, bingo, they have a right to occupy the space. So technically, the Portland Marathon is looking to occupy Portland.
Indeed, you are correct. And they have to do that today. They have to be out today from those places, even though the marathon's not till Sunday. They still have to get all that stuff set up.
Yes. Now, the Occupy Portland folks were kind enough to have a live press conference for the slime bags the TV news people locally. And this was just at 8:45 this morning. 8:45 this morning. And, of course, being the investigative reporters and journalists that you and I are, well, we, got to hear it.
We're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for showing up to our first press conference.
This is a guy, by the way.
Representing Occupy Portland. As of today,
this one is.
through a General Assembly, we have come to some decisions that we'd like to share with the media.
Yesterday, Thursday, October 6th, after a march of 10,000 people, community members from across Portland occupied...
Okay, bullshit. Like I said, there was no way it was 10,000 people. Mm-mm. I don't know who in this group cannot count, but basic math is a skill that one should learn before entering the job market. Okay, let's resume.
...occupied the 2 blocks of Chapman Square and Lounsdale Square overnight. The group, officially known as Occupy Portland, released the following statement this morning. The police are insisting that Occupy Portland abandon its current location at 9 a.m. this morning, stating that the Portland Marathon has reserved the space for the day. Occupy Portland supports the athletes of the Portland Marathon. We do not want to disrupt their event. Occupy Portland is reclaiming public space. Public space can and is to be shared. We want to and are willing to work directly with the Portland Marathon to reach an agreement which accommodates the needs of both events. Occupy Portland has received unprecedented support from the people of Portland and the mayor's office. We hope that the mayor continues to stand by our side. Occupy Portland represents 99% of people feeling the brunt of the current economic crisis and the
Okay, so when I think of the 99% people that are feeling the brunt of the current economic crisis, just as an aside, I don't really think about our mayor. Let's just put that out there. I think of him as, well, a massive part of the problem.
inequality of power in our system. The occupation has been successful in uniting both with the national and international movement. The peaceful occupation plans to continue indefinitely and invites the whole of Oregon to participate.
Yeah.
The following agreements were reached at the General Assembly this morning. Occupy Portland as a group has decided to occupy the South Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, a 12-year-old boy.
Oh my God.
If the police tell us to leave, we will sit down and we will show no resistance but be completely passive and allow them to arrest us.
Now, there's the key right there.
Okay.
Down and we will show no resistance but be completely passive and allow them to arrest us.
Please arrest us, okay? God, just please arrest us so we can be more like Seattle and Wall Street, okay?
If the protest breaks up, then the new meeting place will be at 7 p.m. at Waterfront Park, and we wish to emphasize that this is a non-violent gathering and that we are in solidarity with Occupy Wall Street.
It's a nonviolent gathering, of course, because the average person in bondage pants and Slipknot t-shirts is a pussy with soft hands and will get his ass kicked should shit hit fan. Just saying.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is that, do you have more to play? Or is that
No. Oh, God, no.
Okay,
No,
good.
as if the one woman's voice wasn't enough to just make you want to stab things.
Yeah.
Here's a tip, kids. Here's a tip. Well-spoken as you might be, you're going to want to get somebody with a less irritating voice.
To be your spokespeople.
May I suggest, I don't know, if you guys can get some money together, because he deserves to be paid. How about Doug Zenger?
Oh, totally.
ZengerVO.com. Doug Zenger. The spokesperson for your resistance.
Absolutely.
Yes, he is a man, but he is not the man.
No.
Okay, Doug Zenger. The voice of your movement.
Yes. Please don't say that again.
Doug Zenger, the voice of your movement?
Yes.
You picture Doug sitting there.
No, I'm sitting like somebody else sitting there. He's like, "Yes, you're doing very well." Keep putting like the motivational
Doug Zenger,
movement guy or something.
excrement coach.
Yeah, exactly. No, don't push. Don't push. Oh, you know what I find funny about this whole thing is that I was kind of paying attention to Twitter as well, and it grew from like the 3,000 to 5,000. And then once we got down there, it was like after 3 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
It was like 5 to 6,000, and I'm surprised at how 4,000 people just miraculously appeared within like 2 hours. That and the fact that
that's impressive.
That's
actually impressive.
It really is. Considering the fact that traffic was completely dicked last night. No matter where I think you were coming from, it wasn't just necessarily in the downtown area.
Well, it was raining and it is Portland.
Well,
it rains in
understand
Portland
that.
and people suddenly don't know how to drive. And
I
that's
get it.
fine. But in all fairness to everybody involved, police, once again, just to reiterate, just to recap, police, great job. Organization of the entire event, great job. Message, very cloudy. No chance of sunshine there anytime soon. But I assume, at some point, I'm sure that'll probably be clarified. You have to get a lot more people from a lot larger focus group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has to be people that aren't, because realistically, you look at stuff like this, and if it does make national news, and let's face it, your fine mayor the other day was doing his best to make sure that he was seen and whatnot. Trying to get CNN to come out and give a shit. Mm-hmm. But, he walked with them for like a whole block from what I heard, and I think he became winded and had to go get some payola somewhere. But nonetheless, there was that.
Yeah.
But I do believe he did tweet it like 9-10 times. But at any rate, supposedly this morning, and I don't know if this has happened or not, because now that I've started talking, I can't read. I can't read and talk at the same time. Multitasking, it's not my forte. Mm-hmm. They were talking about, if I could direct everybody to twitter.com/PDXsays, S-A-Y-S. There's a crackpot old lady by the name of Teresa Boze that is just off her fucking rocker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she has been retweeting. She's been tweeting the same 19 things over and over and over again, 19 times each.
Oh,
And
Okay.
apparently doesn't know how to use TweetDeck. And she's a prime example of why crazy old people without jobs should not be allowed to touch technology. They should get, like, I don't know, a son-in-law or maybe a nephew or even a niece. Let's not be sexist. And have them perform these sorts of tasks for her because, well, she's batshit crazy.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
She was making a claim at some point that she was, they were going to be fencing off the Occupy Portland people and illegally imprisoning them or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that actually happened or if it was going to happen. Half the things she says are so poorly spelled and her grammar is so bad that I don't really know how much she drinks or at what point she starts in the morning, but she's a crazy hooker with a Twitter account that should just be stopped. That said, by all means, go follow her.
Oh, yeah, totally. She's got over 30,000 tweets with about 2,000 followers. And yeah, kind of looking at her stuff, there's a lot of the same thing on here.
Pontoni says, son-in-laws and nephews nationwide. Just cursed your name, Robert. Well, yeah.
So what?
Yeah, they have to serve a purpose. I've been one of those young lads that eventually just stopped answering their telephone and, well, eventually ends up changing the number. And, then you send in the false death report to the paper so your family thinks you're dead.
Uh-huh.
I don't care that your fucking printer doesn't work, Grandma.
Just go away. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Have you had any conversational...
Just as an aside, the chat box multiple times now is apparently looking at her Twitter account. It says that she's a communications professional / writer.
Yeah.
which, if you read her tweets, yeah, oh my God, I'm sure that the phone is just ringing off the hook trying to get this old bitch to come work for me.
Yeah.
Come work for me. You've got the skills, to use commas incorrectly and, spell because BECUZ.
I'm just trying to save on characters.
Well, this is what the 1% needs. If the 1% is to fall, it's because they've hired Teresa Boze as a communications director / writer.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Yeah.
the only thing worse than having to read the drivel of something like that is, having to have sex with her.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Ew, why would you even go there?
Somebody has to.
No.
Yeah, somebody has to.
No.
She actually did a presentation about, hot sex a couple of years ago. I was reading about that. Somebody put out a link to it. I'm just getting, I'm about random sexual encounters, I think it was, or something like that. And I'm looking at this presentation, then kind of looking at her and looking back at the presentation, then looking at her and, yeah, okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, my jaw is on the floor right now.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Chatbox says, Dave Grohl. I don't know what that means. Well, I mean, I know what it means, but.
Is he a Slipknot person?
Oh, pardon me. It was public sex. It was sex in public.
What?
Yeah, sure. Her presentation was on having sex in public.
Is she well versed at this or something? Or is she offended by it? What?
No. Come on. It's.
Aw, dude.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as talking about your parents having sex. It's just not something that you do.
Wait, I will end up, I swear to God, I'll probably end up with some kind of weird liability lawsuit email that I can barely even fucking read.
Sure, you will.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. But Jack Peak, our friend Jack Peak, he actually sent an email last night.
Oh, cool.
Email last night from Jack Peak. Oh, he was weighing in on Occupy Portland. None of what he said makes a lick of sense.
Of course.
So if you'd like to completely turn your brain to jello, I invite you to head on over to my personal blog where I've illegally, I think, I'm not sure how that works. He doesn't put one of those stupid disclaimers at the bottom of his email, so I assume if he's sending me something, I can just go ahead and reprint it at will.
Sure.
Until he tells me not to, in which case I'm just going to laugh, giggle, and, point at him and, that sort of thing.
Still do it anyway.
But it is at my blog, robwagpdx.com.
Cool.
Yeah, if you can make sense of it, heads or tails about any of the arguments he presents therein, well, you should probably be locked up too.
Yeah. And it's not something that we're going to read because I've read some of these things actually from Mr. Peak, and they are long. They are long, they're drawn out, they don't make any sense. But if you want a good laugh, head on over to Robert's blog, and I chuckle every time that you post one up.
Yeah, well, he's an interesting fellow.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm reading all kinds of fascinating stuff about the Spelling Challenge Twitter account.
Oh, goodness.
Apparently, she's pro-public sex. So if you happen to be driving down, I'm not sure, any given street in Portland and see somebody, ass fucking a pig, that may not be a pig. I'll just put that out there.
Ouch. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ashley says, if spelling and proper comma use made you employable, I'd be homeless. I'm with you there. That's why I do this.
Okay.
Because, the commas come naturally when you talk. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But I'm just saying that commas are great to have. Okay, I'll stop now.
Period, comma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Great times.
So anyway, I guess it's still going on, still going strong, and we wholeheartedly encourage you to go down there and see it for yourself, because you don't want to just take our word for it.
Cool.
It needs to be witnessed in all its IRL in real life glory.
Yeah. The other thing that I was actually kind of surprised with is, granted, I'm not smoking anymore, but I'm surprised at how many people
Well, you were yesterday.
No, I wasn't.
You were yesterday.
I was getting like secondhand. Sure.
You were smoking like a chimney yesterday.
No, I wasn't.
No, not physically. I'm not suggesting that you had cigarettes in your hands or anything of that nature. I did not see you physically hold a cigarette, but trust me, you were smoking yesterday. I know this because I experienced much the same.
Oh yeah, no, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Lots of clove cigarettes too, I might add.
Yes.
Lots of people drawing things and stuff like that with their artist notebooks.
Oh, of course.
I'm drawing the scene here, so this could be kept for the ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that I was surprised with is, I don't know, it's like the look of some of these protesty people.
The protesty people.
That's what I call them. They're protesty
That's
people.
fine. You can call them what you want.
They looked like transient people. Some of them did, not all of them, just saying some of them. But I'm surprised at how many people didn't. And I know for you too, they did not hit anybody else up for cigarettes or for change.
No, they were obviously people who had come well prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah, these were not the homeless masses that were actually downtrodden and that the system had failed.
Right.
No, not at all. These were people that for whom, a sale at, Hot Topic is a pretty big fucking deal.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, that was the extent of that. There was a couple of pretty choice quotes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those. I'm not even sure if I can get back to them, to be honest with you. At one point, though, there was one artist girl talking to another hip artist girl, and they were both extremely slender. And I estimated the cost of each of their outfits to be around, the $250 to $300 range. I mean, they weren't they weren't dressed, in a business fashion, but they were definitely wearing the upper crust of the Alterno gear. Mm-hmm. Definitely not what you would call the thrift store crowd. No, pretty expensive stuff. But yeah, they had some pretty awesome quotes. They both walked by, and at one point, let me scroll down. One of them says to the other, I think we should create together. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Create what?
Create what?
Like Play-Doh monsters or something?
No,
I don't know.
I think what it was going to be a combination of their non-existent talents. That both these non-existent talents together, and I say non-existent, having no idea what sort of art or creativity these two wonderful ladies possessed. I can just only assume that, you have a hard time, applying makeup. I can't imagine it's all that great. But yeah, we should create together. And just eavesdropping on their conversation for the next block was just, God, it was amazing.
Uh-huh.
It was truly amazing.
It was.
The other one was, my other favorite quote of the day was, there was three youngsters that walked by. These kids were maybe 16, 17 years old. Maybe. We're definitely not out of high school yet, or high school age. Mm-hmm. And all, one of them, all of them dressed like, hey, we're going to go rock, and I get that. That's cool. I'm totally fine with, rock or, whatever it is they call it, staring at your shoes, whatever the fuck. They're all walking along, and one of them's talking to the other, and he goes, I do not consent to a search. When they ask you, I'm just going to say, I do not consent to a search.
Whoa.
Because somebody was asking, apparently. No. He was getting ready, because what this all comes down to is they're really hoping to get arrested. Everybody wants to sit and get the zip cuffs on for not doing anything so that, they can look back on that and tell their children that, I did something. I sat on the sidewalk and was, forcibly removed.
I winced while they did it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be arrested so bad, why not just, walk up to, I don't know. Here's an idea. Find somebody that truly is a problem. Okay? Find, an extremely corrupt politician. Somebody that has been, it's proven. Find, an extremely scummy lawyer that has been proven to be a scummy lawyer, and walk up and give him a wedgie. Instant arrest. Instant arrest.
Absolutely.
And you actually made a demonstration, a real public demonstration. You took it upon yourself to, fight the power, as it were.
That's trying to bring down the man. Bring his pants down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
Or Wedgie, obviously, pulling him up. But
Yeah.
I'm surprised at how many younger kids there were. I mean, in that same age, like 15 to probably 17, 18 years old. And at one point, there was a group of them that had left, and he's like, man, this really sucks that we got to leave.
Yeah.
And the other guy goes,
I don't want to do my homework.
I know, my mom's going to come pick us up, okay? I'm sorry. It's like the only way we can get back home. It's like, you know what? If your mom is coming from Beaverton, she's going to be a while because everybody's, traffic is just messed.
Well, the other awesome part was at one point there was this guy, and I actually took a picture of him and put it out. Okay, and after I took this picture, it was I figured the guy had to be a reporter. And my actual tweet was, reporter, period, doubtful the 99% could afford that lens. And the guy actually had, what I believe was a Nikon, one of the D300, I think, something of that nature. And it had, one of those extreme lenses on it.
Telephotos.
Oh, yeah, we're talking like probably $3,000 worth of fucking glass and steel, right? And I'm thinking, okay, you're obviously a reporter. And, hanging down from his neck was 2 other cameras. And I thought, wow, this guy is just, he's fucking reporter extraordinaire or, a blogger with a really great job.
Yeah, no kidding.
And as he's standing there, this woman walks by and taps him on the shoulder and he goes, hey, next time grab my ass. And she goes, how you doing? He goes, I'm pretty good. How are you? Do you have an extra battery? And it was obvious they knew each other. Yeah. And then I realized they were actually reporters for a local news publication. One of the ones that actually, comes on the paper, that paper thing that the old people use. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Like all kinds of wicked sexual harassment. Here's a story right here that's far more interesting than, the people climbing on the big elk statue.
Yeah, and the elk doesn't have any balls, just FYI.
Oh, you looked?
I did.
Okay. That's okay. The people climbing on them really probably didn't either.
They didn't.
No.
Yeah, it was there when that happened too. He's like, oh, why don't you just grab my ass next time? I was like, you know what? I'll cut you.
Yeah. My best quote of the day, though, the absolute best quote of the day was 2 people walked by and one of them said, I bet this is bigger than Woodstock. I'm like, wow, there are books and documentaries about this sort of thing, or perhaps, I don't know, maybe your grandparents or parents could tell you about what actually happened there. That was a lot more people. And here again, we come back to the counting problem. The fact that basic math just seems to be escaping everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, totally. This is, like, so much bigger than Woodstock.
Yeah, the chat box is, 2 of you have reminded me that technically I do owe somebody a subscription to the Rick Emerson Show.
Yes, you do.
Because I put out a tweet that said the first person to get arrested at Occupy Portland gets a subscription to the Rick Emerson Show. And last night, 2 occupiers were arrested. Now, I'm not sure which one. I got to find out which one was arrested first. But yeah, they'll get a free subscription to it. You won't be able to get it through the regular channels, though. I actually pirate and copy the Rick Emerson Show. So
cool.
I'll just send those MP3s. You guys fight it amongst yourselves. Fight it out. Figure out, which one of you should get it. Who was actually down on the ground and oppressed first. And the most oppressed, I don't care how you do it. Fucking, I don't know, rock, scissors, paper. I don't give a shit.
Maybe you go by the tightness of your zip lines on your hands.
Yeah, there you go. Who had marks?
Yeah. That's what I would do.
Yeah. And evidently they spray painted a Starbucks. Ooh, look at you fighting the power, and a police car.
Yeah, they had like some kind of, if you look at the news article, I believe it was on KPTV Fox 12, their website. It was a photo of a police car, and on the hood it looked like a giant stamp or a sticker, some kind of a marker, and it said Occupy Portland. It's not very big, but still the fact that somebody had stamped a police car is like, not very bright you are.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Chatbox says, you say Portland is passive-aggressive, but Rochester just doesn't do anything about anything.
Rochester?
At least Portlanders take action once in a while. I'm inclined to agree with that. I am inclined to agree with that. But
okay.
It's the difference of we have a lot of people who are extremely, how you say, dissatisfied with the fact that they have to work for a living. Mm-hmm. And I guess if you want to put together an entire movement based on that, so be it. I like the movement, though, of, yes, Wall Street is fucking with you. Yes, larger businesses are paying totally different tax rates. Richer people are paying totally different tax rates than, somebody who makes next to nothing. Yeah, I am in disagreement with that. Very much so. But in the end, it's a capitalist society. Somebody's always going to have more than somebody else. And they're usually, a lot of times, they're going to have to work for it. And so all the people out there that figure, well, these CEOs that do this, that, and the other, man, they don't have like real jobs. I disagree. If you were probably to take your average group of 100 CEOs and a group of 100, protesters and, sort of do an analysis of, who's more prone to, say, stress, who's more prone to, things like ulcers and things of that nature. I'm pretty sure it's going to be your CEOs.
They're more at health risk.
Yes. And I'm not saying that, they're all wonderful people. That's not really the point of being a CEO. Sometimes you're a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the main misconception, or it's not even a misconception, but the main beef is the fact that CEOs get paid as much as they do. It's like everybody works, I want to say like the same, hopefully not the same 8-hour day, because let's face it, if you're CEO, you're salary, so you're probably working all the time. But let's face it, if you're a salaried employee, no matter where you are, you're going to be working your ass off.
Well, actually, let's take a look at this. Okay. Hewlett Packard officially has a new CEO by the name of Meg Whitman, who I might add is somebody I've been following for years, just because she's happened to be, a big, a person of note.
Okay.
In certain circles. Her salary, $1. Her annual salary will be $1.
Right.
Yes. And you know what that means? That means they're probably hiring her by giving her, a certain amount of stock. And you know what that means?
It
means in order for her to actually make money in her position, she has to turn the company around and make a profit. Thereby making the stock value go up. Her ousted predecessor, a person who did absolutely nothing to make the Hewlett Packard Corporation worth a shit, in fact, did more harm than good, received $10 million cash in severance and bonuses upon leaving the company.
She left. She was not fired.
He.
Oh, excuse me.
The outgoing CEO, $10 million to get the fuck out. The incoming CEO promised $1 per year.
I'm sure she got some signing bonus or something. She had to have.
Her target bonus for Hewlett Packard's 2012 fiscal year is $2.4 million. Target bonus. That's if everything goes okie dokie.
That's just a bonus, though. That's not saying what...
Her salary is $1.
Huh.
You see what I'm saying?
Wasn't...
It's an incentive bonus.
Okay.
She has to do well in order to get the money.
I understand. I completely understand that. Therefore, yes, she has more incentive in order to turn the company around and to make more money off of those stocks, because that's her livelihood as well. Wasn't there something similar with Steve Jobs? Didn't he only make $1 a year?
He made $1 a year.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he had a shit ton of stocks.
Oh yeah, well.
Yeah, so that's but that comes down to performance, though. If you look historically, and let's just keep using Hewlett Packard as an example, Hewlett Packard has paid millions and millions of dollars annually to every CEO they've had in decades. And to do what? They've not exactly been tearing it up. That company has not been super profitable. In fact, since the year 2000, they've performed miserably. They're just large enough where you don't notice that.
Gotcha.
Good times.
Great. Well, wouldn't you think that people would be a little bit more understanding then, I guess, of this whole big corporation?
No, I don't think they are at all. I really don't. And I think one of the reasons is the separation between the two things. If you're giving somebody, if somebody comes in agreeing to take $1, and there's a $2.4 million incentive bonus plus all kinds of stock. Obviously, she knows her shit. Where the problem is when you get people in companies smaller than that. And this happens all over the place. It happens a lot here in Oregon. There are tons of CEOs in various places in Oregon that aren't exactly doing great, but they make a ton of money. Meanwhile, the people further down on the food chain are let go. They're paid less. Look at Fox. We were talking about The Simpsons the other day. Mm-hmm. Okay, without the voice talent that are, Homer and Marge and, Bart, etc., that show doesn't exist. It simply doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Now, push aside the fact that it's been on for over 2 decades and, hasn't been funny in most of it. Push that aside. Fox executives make millions and are getting raises. They're not being asked to take home less money. Where's the fairness in that?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it at all.
And so, when you look at things like that, yeah, of course at that point, yeah, I'm a little more inclined to look at, hey, maybe the 99% might be right. I just don't want to hang around with a lot of kids that dress in clothes from Hot Topic. See, that's my issue, because I don't think it's affecting them. I think it's affecting people who actually work for a living. I think it's affecting people who actually have been working for a living, who've lost their health care, who've lost their homes. I think that's the people it affects. I don't think it affects the kid that's wearing the Slipknot shirt. And if it does, well, it's in a very Reagan-era trickle-down poverty sort of way.
And chances are the kid doesn't understand it anyway.
Yeah, mom and dad no longer have 2 cars, so it's difficult for Johnny to get his learner's permit and go use the family automobile because mom and dad are always using it. They have to share. They have to commute. Carpool style. And yes, that definitely is putting a cramp in his forthcoming dating plans where he was going to, ask that girl out and then go proceed to find somebody to buy booze for him at a 7-Eleven. Using his allowance. Maybe you're the girl in whatever class, you're an incoming freshman at Portland State University, and you're one of the people that has to use a Dell. Oh God, how soul-crushing must that be? When everywhere you look, everybody's got a Mac. You've just got a Dell. Mom, this isn't fair! That's who's occupying Portland. I'm just saying.
It's very good.
No, it's not good.
No, I mean...
Why is that good?
The way that you explain it is good. I mean, it makes sense.
I'm an asshat and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately, being as close to Portland State University as we are, I think I hear a lot of that, actually.
A lot of people whining that they don't have Macs?
Just a lot of people whining in general. It's you know what? You spoiled little brats. Come on.
More than once, I've heard people proclaim that they were disappointed that their professors just weren't radical enough.
Oh.
Which is an amusing argument. I mean, it really is. It's an amusing thing to have an issue with. I thought you were here to learn, not to follow a hippie off at the edge of a cliff.
Oh, I know. You're talking about your nutrition professor here. Come on.
Yeah, how radical are you?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's not alternative enough. Really? You know what? If you're talking about anything, base, I don't know. I'm sorry, my chemistry teacher's not radical enough. Well, maybe you should be watching a little bit more Breaking Bad, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Yep.
Jeez.
Learn to cook.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't condone that.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
No.
Moving on to fun stuff. You think you have it bad here? Well, just think if you were a yogurt fan. Yes, yogurt. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, where a grocery store worker was accused of handing out a semen-tainted yogurt sample at an Albuquerque market.
Yeah.
So you make that face, and I wait for the reaction, but it's almost like you're stuck.
Yeah, it's like brain processes and then mouth catches up.
Yes. And how would you even know? I mean, when you think of how yogurt looks.
Oh. Dude.
Anyway,
Pro tip, don't ever eat.
Anyway, Anthony Garcia pled guilty yesterday, and under the terms of his... What's funny about that?
Anthony Garcia.
What's funny about that?
I don't know, Andy Garcia?
Anthony. It's not Andy. Andy is Andrew.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, good. Good
Duh.
point. All right, go ahead.
Obviously, you need a more radical perspective on things.
Obviously.
Under the terms of his plea agreement, Anthony Garcia admitted he tainted a sample of the yogurt he was handing out at the Sunflower Market in January. He also admitted putting some of his own semen on a plastic spoon that he placed with the yogurt. He then approached a female customer and offered her a sample. Here, try it! The criminal conduct to which Anthony Garcia pled guilty today is completely outrageous, said U.S. Attorney Kenneth J. Gonzalez. This is New Mexico, by the way.
Of course.
Just so you know. He said after Garcia's appearance in federal court, no one should have to endure this type of experience simply because she or he accepts a food sample while shopping for groceries. Garcia, age 32, pled guilty to the charges of adulterating food.
Adulterating food?
Yes. And making false statements to federal investigators. In other words, he said no when they first approached him. A woman told police that after tasting the sample, she spit on the floor several times and wiped her mouth on the garment she was wearing to get the taste out of her mouth. Investigators collected samples of the woman's spit from the floor and took the garment she was wearing as evidence. Now, I'm just going to go off on a slight tangent here, okay? Just a slight tangent. Now, obviously, this is a woman who knows what this tastes like. Because otherwise, how would you know? You know what I mean? Now...
Blooge. Oh my God. I've already been nauseous all morning and you have to read this.
Yes, Pontoni agrees. He says, I just love how she actually knew the sample tasted like semen. This tastes just like semen. Police say Garcia was linked to the yogurt through DNA samples. Because, apparently when you work at the sunflower market, you have to come in a cup just so they can have something to compare it to. Here's your cup. Welcome to Sunflower Market. Authorities say Garcia then lied to investigators about the case. In court documents, federal prosecutors called the allegations sickening and appalling. Garcia now faces up to 3 years of imprisonment to be followed by 3 years of supervised release. You don't see the humor there?
Yes, I do.
Okay. That means that whenever he, has a little of a release, it's supervised.
I get it.
You see what I did there?
I see what you're doing there. I get it.
Okay. He has been in federal custody since his arrest in July and remained detained pending his sentencing, which has yet to be scheduled. In other news.
Oh, my God. No.
In other news.
No.
What? What? Speaking of things that taste like semen, I hate America today.
No, I can't.
For the second year in a row, the Cheesecake Factory is America's favorite casual dining restaurant. That's right, a survey of more than 4,500 customers gave the restaurant high marks for cleanliness, food quality, and taste, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Americans have no sense when it comes to what's on a plate in front of them. Mm-hmm. Texas Roadhouse came in second, followed by Olive Garden and P.F. Chang's.
Yay!
Applebee's was tops for overall value and speed of service. Ruby Tuesday was the top option for health choices. And Golden Corral, whatever that is, was named the best restaurant for children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so appalling.
It's a little on the odd side.
Yeah. And you wonder why, aside from P.F. Chang's, you wonder why there's none of these chainy restaurants or whatever.
Cheney? Like Dick Cheney?
Like Dick Cheney, yeah. Everything is protesty and Cheney.
So all of the
today.
evil, shitty, scumbag of the earth, vice president-y restaurants.
Yes.
That's what you mean by Cheney.
That's what I mean by Cheney.
Okay, go ahead.
They're not within usually they're not within the major metropolitan downtown areas.
Oh no, this is the suburbs.
Yes.
Where people go to die.
That's what I'm saying. Is that not that, hey, we have a little bit more common sense because people live downtown, but I'm just saying that really people, American Roadhouse, I enjoy a good steak every once in a while too, but come on. Everybody knows the Outback is way better.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh no.
I'm totally kidding, by the way. Jesus.
The best thing about the Outback, and everybody goes, the bloomin' onion. It's the bloomin' onion.
No.
Fuck the bloomin' onion. You know what I want to do with the bloomin' onion every time I fucking see the bloomin' onion? They bring out the bloomin' onion. I'm thinking, man, I want to put my dick right in the middle of that thing. I have no idea why.
I have no idea why. It.
Now, the best thing about the Outback, a wallaby darned with a floater on top. And by floater, I don't mean a turd.
It's like an extra shot.
Yes, it's an extra shot. It's like, man, we've taken the peach Slurpee that you knew and loved as a child and filled it with alcohol. Now go ahead, Jimmy, give that a drink down. And you just sit there and you drink it. And after two of those things, you could be sitting there. I'll be sitting there watching like a fucking Green Bay Packers game going, yeah! Yeah!
And you have brain freeze to boot.
Fucking Teresa Boze actually looks attractive right now.
Ew. Biggie. Jesus. Oh, what is wrong with our society?
Yeah, drink 4 of those and you'll actually see Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah, good times. Really good times. Applebee's, though, I can't get behind that.
No.
Applebee's is not best overall value or speed of service or anything. You're talking about a restaurant that is partially owned, a lot of people don't realize this, partially owned by Kenny Loggins.
I'm sorry, really?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
You want a highway straight to the danger zone, man?
Wow.
Applebee's. Every time I eat at Applebee's, I have cheese. Every time I have Applebee's cheese, well, I can't poop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's, I always thought for the longest time I was actually allergic to Applebee's. Like, it didn't matter what I had. I always had diarrhea after I ate it. I mean, just way too much information for everybody today. I realize that, but I'm just saying. It's a couple different Applebee's. I always felt like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Kind of gross.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm concerned about this.
You should be.
Is there anything you do recommend? What is your favorite Cheney restaurant? I'm just curious.
Oh, gosh.
In all seriousness.
In all
and
seriousness?
Chatbox UA into. What is your favorite? And don't be afraid to admit it. Everybody goes to one sometimes.
Sure.
Just what is your favorite Cheney restaurant?
I don't really know, actually.
Oh, bullshit. You're just trying not to say. Everybody has that deep, dark secret, that skeleton in their fast food closet. It doesn't have to be fast food either. It just has to be Cheney.
Red Lobster.
Red Lobster, huh? Really?
I've never set foot in a Red Lobster.
Well, then why are you saying it? Why are you saying it then?
Okay, my favorite Cheney one then, because I only go to it very, very, very sporadically, is the Cracker Barrel.
The Cracker Barrel.
Yes, and
I'm not familiar.
Well, because I think there's only a couple locations in Colorado and a few in Florida. I'm not sure how other nationwide they are, but it for me it's kind of a treat to go to the Cracker Barrel. I mean, it is a chain restaurant, but their breakfast is absolutely incredible.
Really?
Oh God, yeah. I had this French toast on Sunday because I was in Colorado with my parents, and it was absolutely delightful. It was like an apple buttered French toast thing that was just, God, it was good.
Okay, well, I'm getting all kinds of responses here. Okay, so I'm just going to start going on them. In-N-Out Burger.
Of course.
If
you're lucky enough.
Hey, I got a Jack on the Box. Chili's. Oh, another Chili's.
If you can find them anymore.
Nick wants to know, quick question for you, are only white people allowed in the Cracker Barrel?
No, they were actually good.
Yes!
There was actually quite a few black people in the Cracker Barrel.
I'm just,
you know what? It's funny.
I'm being
Go
told
ahead.
Cracker Barrel has locations in Michigan. Stanford's. No,
Ew.
actually, I have Hang's Head Stanford's. There you
Aw.
go. It's called Cracker Barrel for a reason. Thank you. I got another Cracker Barrel. I've got Claim Jumper. Claim Jumper. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Claim Jumper that restaurant where they used to give you a pager that would flash incessantly when your table was ready? But
a
it was
lot of places do that.
Really? They still do that?
God, you know what? There's like a fish and chips place in Lloyd Center, and if they were busy, what they would do is they would hand you a beeper thing like that, but it was shaped like a fucking lobster.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, and people didn't just steal these fucking things?
No, I mean, I totally wanted to, but I know it was weird because I was the only
Wait, who
one
has
online.
these?
It was some kind of fish and chips place within the food court at the Lloyd Mall, at the Lloyd Center. I don't think it's there anymore. I was there, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and they looked like they were still there, but they just weren't open kind of thing.
Where? I'm not even sure where you're talking about.
In the food court on the upper level of Lloyd Center.
Why would the Lloyd Center food court have a restaurant that required giving you a beeper?
I don't know,
Are
but
they
this
that
one
inefficient?
did. I guess so. I mean, it was like around dinner time. It was like between 5 and 7 o'clock.
Okay. So the Lloyd Center here in Portland.
Yes.
Okay, if somebody can actually get me a lobster beeper from this shithole, from the Lloyd Center food court, I will exchange it for a Portland Sucks t-shirt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I will
took
actually
a picture of it.
I'll give you 2.
Okay.
I'll give you 2 t-shirts for one, and I don't know, you may even be able to pick the sizes, but I just want a lobster beeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I took a picture of it because I thought it was
I'm
funny.
advocating theft.
Do it,
Just so you know.
I mean, if the company's not in business anymore, then who cares?
Well, then it's probably even easier.
Probably.
Because nothing ever goes back into malls. Things just leave malls these days.
Yeah.
We should occupy Lloyd Center.
Ooh. Now that would be interesting.
And that skating rink, everybody's sitting on that all at once, melting right down into the ice. My butt's cold. I want to go home. There's a Hot Topic right down the way. Isn't there a Hot Topic there?
There is.
Oh, see, this works out.
This is awesome.
Yeah, you could go there and get a Rainbow Bright t-shirt and some awesome pants, and things would be good.
Well, and the park across the street is humongous. It would fit everybody.
The park across the street?
There's a huge park across the street from the Lloyd Center, right where the Max is.
Oh, yeah, but that would displace the Jesus people.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, there's an awesome Jesus stand.
Occupy Portland does not discriminate.
I don't know. I want the Jesus people to stay there because they get into fights and stuff constantly.
So then why not have the Occupy Portland people kind of mesh in with them? You have more arrests, bing, bang, boom. You're good.
Okay, well, we'll be back Monday.